Will Howard Stark be able to save this ill-begotten world from the evil machinations of the Maker, even if it costs him everything to do so? Well, let's hop into the pages of Ultimate Invasion issue number 4, the grand finale of this Jonathan Hickman series, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up from where the last issue left off, Howard Stark had been put to work on rebuilding the Immortus engine, the time travel device that allowed the Maker to edit this universe to his liking, but whose complex inner workings were lost to him after suffering some sort of mysterious head trauma. Assisting Howard in this super science task is this world's Reed Richards, who has actually been made to look more like Doctor Doom, complete with his own iron mask, which is actually kind of a beautiful allusion to the classic story Man in the Iron Mask, wherein the real King is hidden away in a prison. Here the real Reed is hidden away in a prison under a mask. Reed is also very quick to try and strike up a conversation with Howard, probably the first person he's talked to, and well, even he doesn't know how long. He says that he knows secrets. The truth about the Maker, where he really comes from, and how he can possibly be stopped. We also learn a little bit about the special kind of hell that the Maker cooked up to punish this world's Reed. Essentially, time moves differently inside the lab, meaning that Reed has no idea how long he's actually been here. There was a moment when he thought he was able to track the movement of the sun, only to realize that the source of light was created by the Maker himself to screw with Reed and once again prove how much smarter and how much more superior he is. Apparently, he does this a lot. The true salt on the wound part, though, is that Dr. Reed here can actually leave whenever he wants. The only problem is that he always finds himself drawn back to the lab and to another problem to solve. As Reed so eloquently puts it to Howard, you can run from a lot of things, but you can't run from who you are, which again has another beautiful double meaning here. Reed is a guy who has to solve every problem that's put in front of him, and the Maker is literally another version of Reed Richards, meaning that, yeah, he can't run from himself no matter how hard he tries. Together, Reed and Howard actually managed to complete the Immortus engine. In fact, it was a lot easier than Howard thought it would be. They also hatch a plan that they hope will finally bring down the Maker and free this world once and for all. To do this, though, Reed will have to actually don his Iron Man armor once again and distract the Maker while Reed wanders around the city and does a little super science sabotage. The Maker is, of course, overjoyed to have his Immortus engine returned to him, and being the three-dimensional chess egghead that he is, the Maker's mind runs wild with speculation about how all of this probably came about. Perhaps this was the moment he was always supposed to unlock the power of time travel. Maybe he takes this device back to a younger version of himself so that he can build the bigger, clunkier, less mobile version that we saw at the beginning of the story. Howard, though, has his own theory. He thinks that the Maker never actually built the Immortus engine at all, and that important piece of information was lost to him during the head trauma. Howard also has a major trump card up his sleeve. Now that he has created the Immortus engine, he uses it to open up a portal in time, allowing the ultimate Kang and his army of clone superheroes from the future to enter the city unopposed before Dr. Reed ends up reactivating the shields around the city, making sure that everyone who's anyone is now officially trapped inside. The way Howard puts it, he's dealing with a monster here in the present who wants to manipulate time, and a monster from the future who also manipulates time, so maybe it would be the best for everyone if they just killed each other. And indeed, Ultimate Kang and the Maker knock the absolute crap out of each other. In fact, we get a positively beautiful double-page spread wherein the two clash, with both getting their own particular color profiles, which I enjoy a whole lot. It also takes getting his helmet blasted off for the Maker to start slowly but surely getting some of his memories back. He's met this Kang before. It turns out the Maker actually met Ultimate Kang the first day he activated his Immortus engine. He traveled all the way to the far-flung future to see what his machinations in this world would bring about. Would he truly create a perfect world, an empire that would last the millennium? Well, at the end of time, or at least as close to the end of time as he could get, the Maker only ended up coming face to face with Kang, who recognized him too, before shooting him in the head and claiming that this was the beginning of his origin story. So yeah, we got time loops within time loops, everyone. What do you think about that? Well, Howard's thought about it and he doesn't like it at all, so much to the point he sets his suit to self-destruct in hopes of taking out the Maker, Kang, and everyone else caught in the blast radius. Then for a second there, it seems like it might very well have worked. Howard crawls his way out of his crumbled armor to look under Kang's mask, and what he sees under there makes him very, very sad. Though we ourselves don't actually get to see it. It's after that we flash forward sometime in the future and see what became of all the other world leaders now that the Maker isn't around to pull their string and give them directives. There's little split on what exactly their their next course of action should be. Some think that they should just keep the status quo intact and wait for the Maker to return. After all, it's not like this is the first time the city's been walled off. Then again, they also fear what the Maker could very well become in all that time, what with the course of time moving differently inside the city. Then of course there's the matter of picking a brand new sovereign for the American territories. It was supposed to be Obadiah Stane, then it was supposed to be Howard, now they're seemingly both gone. They should probably pick a new leader right away, or maybe they should just cut up the territory for their own gain. I mean, God is dead, right? There's no one to punish them, no one to judge them. They could basically get away with whatever they wanted now. Then of course there's still the matter of young Tony himself. He hears about his father's death directly from Dr. Reed, who comes bearing gifts, a letter from Howard, as well as the Maker's secret files, and even the broken Immortus engine that the Maker couldn't get working. A distraught and heartbroken Tony decides to do what he always does in this situation, and that is make a brand new set of armor, one complete with the broken Immortus engine as its core. Reed wonders if Tony will take up the mantle of Iron Man in honor of his seemingly dead father Howard, only for Tony to say that he hasn't fully earned his father's name yet, so until then, you can just call him Iron Lad. Which, of course, if you know your greater Marvel history, is a direct reference to Nathaniel Richards, yet another thread in the vast tapestry that is Kang and the Reed Richards family. The implication here 100% being that yes, Tony will indeed one day grow up to become the ultimate Kang at some point. But until then, there's much good work that still needs doing. Tony reads the letter from his father, and in it Howard says that he tried so hard to make the world a better place, tried so hard to make wonders, and yet all of them ended up corrupted and tainted by the Maker. Everything except for his greatest creation, which is naturally Tony himself. Howard says he wanted to save the world, but it looks like that job is now going to be falling to Tony, but to do that, he's going to need a little help, and as the comic comes to a close, Iron Lad ends up going to a very familiar-looking cave in the Arctic, where he ends up stumbling upon this world's answer to Steve Rogers, alive and well. Well, as alive and well as you can be, frozen in ice. And so that was Ultimate Invasion issue number 4, everybody, and all I can say is, wow, that one was sure different, wasn't it? Really, when I stop and think about it, this wasn't so much a story in its own right as it was a prelude to everything we got coming in November and a brand new line of Ultimate Comics with Hickman at the helm. Which is certainly all well and good, but if that was going to be the idea, why did this need to be 4 issues? Surely you could have gotten this all done in one super issue, am I right? It doesn't so much end as it just kind of peters out. Don't get me wrong, they certainly set up a lot of interesting ideas and new status quos that will be explored in the other books. I was just left kinda colder by this finale than I wanted to be, especially considering the heights from which all of this began at. That's still not to say this isn't worth your time, especially if you want to be following the other brand new Ultimate titles that are going to be coming soon. Just, maybe adjust your expectations going in. Overall, though, I would give this one a 7 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.